it is worth mentioning that there has been a spot of drama around the IHC.
I know,
brand.
mate. When you saw this, it's like they can't catch a break, can they? Like right after you've had those good results. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, dude. So the title of the story over on play.gg is Mongolian underdogs IHC danger, founding members arrested. So 3 of the founding members of the organization have apparently been arrested because their crypto coin, on fraud charges essentially, because their crypto coin has that their organization is based off of has completely tanked and lost 96% of its value since it's launched. And and so quite a few people who invested in that coin are now complaining to the police saying, by the way, this is, there was supposed to be some kind of security behind this. Apparently there isn't any kind of security. Can you guys do anything? And so these founders have now been arrested. And so we'll see how that goes. One thing that just came out.
See, the fear is hopefully this doesn't wreck the org. I mean, the players can't travel and all that jazz. Because right now, that's the sad thing, isn't it? Right now, like I'm saying, is when you want to see them play again. Like they actually look at the teams they're beating. Remember, guys, they're not beating these teams. They're beating them in best of 3s on LAN. These aren't even like fluke games. Like they're winning. Like I actually do want to see that team that have like mad upset potential. It reminds me of the old Ty Lue. You remember when they had like they could come along and beat you once in a blue moon, right?
It's like a different era now because if you qualify for events, you're going to get a stipend from the TO to make it there, right?
Okay.
In terms of flights. And also, I mean, they've competed in a couple majors now, right? So they've actually got some. They should, in theory, have some sticker money. They should, in theory, have some funds.
Well,
right?
You hope they've got the money because the downside
you hope
is
they got the money. Well, no, you don't hope
the
in
Asian
that case because
teams.
Steam or Valve don't care. They wire the money directly to the players. It goes straight to their Steam account.
All right. I mean,
so there's no faffing about.
It
should, in theory, if it's done the same way it's been done in the past, it should, in theory, be going straight to the players, and you shouldn't have any issue at all. The players should be good.
Yeah, but the problem there is, what if the org has a relationship with that? Like, now you send me 80% of it. Like, look, here's the doubt. This is the dark side, by the way, of Asian esports. Is there are orgs that are like that, like where. Like, I have to be careful what I say here because I'm talking about massive orgs in Korea. Put it this way, I've heard of some enormous orgs in Korea that had like superstar names that you would know, where like maybe now they've got the sick deal, Semmler, and it's mainly in League of Legends because of China, believe it or not, because China brought so much money to the table. It made the Koreans have to be more legit with like the counter offer. But I heard back in the day, if like a giant player got a sponsorship, maybe he just keeps getting his salary and the sponsorship goes to the company and they're like, well, we got the sponsor. It's not the same as the Western series. But with that said, yeah, if they wire it directly, hopefully we
could take a little stroll behind. We can take a stroll down memory lane there real quick as an aside. Do you remember when the stickers first got introduced and there was all that drama around complexity?
Yeah.
And that was a major issue back then.
And the other one was Dignitas, if you remember, because Dignitas used to have like the Danes, and originally Audi was the same thing. By the way, here's what's funny. At the time, because Richard Tall Angle he's always a player advocate, he took, I think, a little bit too harsh an angle on that. Even he concedes himself, which is because we didn't have player stickers back then. That's why everyone felt like the sticker money should go to the players. Because we now have the signatures. I'm sort of with him. I feel like, look, some of the money for the actual team sticker should go to the org because that is literally their logo. Like, here's the difference. Simple would sell stickers no matter what. But if Wonderful from Spirit joins Na'Vi tomorrow, he's getting way more money because of the Na'Vi logo being a Na'Vi, not because he's wonderful. You know what? You get the distinction. So back then, the problem was Audi was doing the other one. Like, I think Audi was, and Complexity's their angle was, it's our logo, we get all the money. Exactly. Like, look, that's too much, especially because, as you're saying, back then, the premise was they didn't get much salary, so the players needed as much as they could get. But I do think in the modern day, I don't think for the sticker of the logo, it's that crazy that the org gets like a cut, for example, or half or something,
Yeah, not anymore. But yeah, no, the main issue back then, the primary argument was, well, you're only here because of the org.
Yep.
But then, of course, the counter argument to that is, well, you're only here because of the players.
Yep.
So
it's a chicken and egg in it. Yeah, exactly.
But I remember that being a really spicy topic back then, and quite a bit of debate going back and forth. Of course, after that, the players started making mountains of cash on those stickers, and then it really became some players were making more money than if they won the major just off of stickers.
Yes.
I mean, they were killing it. So,
you remember the most famous one was that when FaZe went to that one where they got the group of death and they went out in the group stage, the ESL One Clone 2016. That was the one where they did like daily updates on the stickers. And just because it was FaZe Clan, they were selling 2.5 times more stickers than number 2 on the list, mate. And because how it was back then, no joke, it was like FaZe number 1. Remember, FaZe hadn't even done anything in the game yet. This wasn't Carrigan FaZe. Optic was like 3 or 4, and they'd like hadn't won the E-League yet. Like, you were just like, holy shit, this is the power of like American fan bases. It's actually actually why a lot of orgs were rushing into the game, because they were thinking like as you're thinking, like the joke is, I mean, they didn't do it properly, but if you had have been like a TSM and you'd ever had your team with the sticker, fucking hell, you'd just be raking in money, wouldn't you? You'd be making so much from your fans. Because that's also why the argument has a logic to it, Semmler. Because let's be real, there is a modern day fan who will buy the capsule to get the Na'Vi sticker because he wants the Na'Vi sticker on his gun, not just because he wants to spot the player, you know? That's why I think the FaZe and the TSM and the Optic one would sell so much as well, because logically, the League of Legends fan who plays CSGO wants the TSM logo on his gun, you know. Like there's an element there where they almost showed us the power of marketing. Because I agree, the FaZe one was the craziest, because that team was shit, if you remember. That was one that never made a playoff ever and had like no IGL, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just the power of the brand. That's why it's such an interesting topic to discuss, because I mean, there's arguments on all sides.
Yeah.
And then of course Valve, you know, I think they really did meet them halfway, where they said, okay, the players get their signatures, and then you still have the org, and then there you go, right?
Which then sparked my favorite but stupidest drama of all time, which was when Device, who was already established as like one of the best players in the world, like top player. Do you remember when he just goes, oh, well, since we're getting our own stickers, I want to be known as Devi. And everyone was like, excuse me? And he goes, yeah, it's just what they used to call me at school. So from now on, don't call me Device. My name is Devi. And the best part is Valve just goes, nah. This is true. The fans don't know. For real, Valve just were like, nah, you're not called Devi. And he's like, I am. And they're like, no, I'm pretty sure you're still called Device. And he actually, this is not a joke, had to keep calling himself Device. And that's why to this day he's called Device, which is why famously the tie-in is, I made that stupid joke where before Australians won everything, you know, when they used to be the team who could win everything, but they could also lose and choke. I used to have that joke where to tilt the Anchor, every time Device like hit some bad like 2K, I'd be like, Devi in the building. But then Yanko was trying to use it against me. Like if he shit the bed and like was having like 4 kills, he'd be like, where the fuck is Devi then? Where is he? And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. It's just Device today. It's just Device. That's like the Clark Kent to his Superman, as it were.
The alter ego. This is the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Well, speaking of what?
I'll give you my little bomb now, because I saved the little bomb. You might notice.
Well, hold on. Before we get into the bomb, because I know what you want to talk about, but like before, well, I don't know what you want to talk about, but it's in the notes. So okay, I'm assuming it's going to be good. But we could have a little bit of a laugh real quick, because the whole IHC thing, right? So that comes out, that breaks. You know, founders arrested for fraud, and we'll see what happens there, and if it screws the team or not. They did Dave Lee, co-founder. Currently a chairman of IHC Esports and CEO of X-Meta Exchange. So, you know, tied into crypto, tied into all of it. They released an official statement to try to address this situation. And it's some of the best corporate speak I've read in a long time, i.e. it says nothing. But it was pretty amusing. So we had fun with the NIP one last time, so I figured we could go through this one. The management, so official statement at the top. The management of IHC Esports would like to address recent events and express our deep regret over the dissemination of misleading information concerning our organization. This malicious act has caused significant harm to our team and impacted their well-being. Despite these challenging circumstances, we remain unwavering in our commitment to our mission and vow to compete with honor and distinction in all future endeavors. So already, okay, fair enough. What was misleading? It's like what was misleading about the information that was released, i.e. 3 founders were arrested on fraud charges. Like what's
well, the joke, if you notice in how they write the statement, like first of all, I'll start at the top. You don't
also it's malicious to write the news now, apparently.
No, this is the point. First of all, you don't write official statement on an official statement, because just the fact it has your letterhead, you're the one, you decide if it's official. You don't put like, this is an official statement from, like, it's from you. So you're already, that's like amateur hour. But then, what they do, and this is quite key, which is really sus, is they just make a vague allusion to certain individuals and misleading info, but they don't mention it. And the reason why is obvious, because they clearly don't want people to know that something is going on with this coin and that these specific people. So instead of doing this, Semmler, saying the charges that allege that we took part in fraud or, whatever to the public with this person, our order, I don't know who the people are, but, our COO, our finance, instead of doing all that, because the joke would be, in a way, you'd be signal boost to the actual story about what you might have done. It makes it look like you're denying it all, but also crucially that you're sort of not actually giving any details. And so as far as I can tell, this is only for like a super fan who would be like, oh, it was all nonsense. Like,
it gets better.
It doesn't seem like you've done anything.
It gets better. So second paragraph, we would like to categorically state that certain individuals have no involvement with our management and operation, and we deny these allegations in the strongest possible terms.
Problem with that, by the way, is that doesn't even make sense in English. Like that just seems that just implies that so anyone, because they mean what they mean there is the specific individuals named in this misleading information would be what you'd write, okay? But they're just making it sound like no one ever was ever involved in anything wrong.
Yeah, you know? Where did this come from? The spread of misleading information has not only affected our team's morale, but also threatened the stability of our operations. We would like to, I think that's the issue, is the stability of your operations, homie. We would like to assure all stakeholders that we are fully committed to safeguarding the integrity of our organization and protecting the interests of all parties involved.
I'll tell you something really interesting about the way this is written, is even though it's very amateurish from a PR standpoint, it's very interesting if you understand the way the law works, if something was to be used in court. Because you notice how all they ever say is that they would like to.
Yeah.
We would like to categorically still. Well, are you doing it? Well, we'd like to. We'd like to assure you that everything's fine. But is everything fine? Well, we'd like to assure you it is. Why aren't you just assuring me?
Like
do you know what I mean? Like I would be very specific with my language there. What I would say here, Semmler, is I can assure my stakeholder. But I tell you what, if that meant I go to court and get fucked, I might just say I would like to. I might be a little bit more careful what I say. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is always the double speak that you get with these sorts of situations, right? Well, we would like to, but we'll look into it, and it's just saying that. That's the thing, saying that and like, okay, fine, fair enough. But then going above and saying, okay, dissemination of misleading information, and this is a malicious act. It's like, well, that's a bit on the nose. Also,
unfortunately, that's like politics, isn't it? Like in the modern day, you do the Darvo, you just like flip it. I'm the victim and you're the one doing it to me. Like the joke is, that story I said earlier about the EG one? People did that to me. Suddenly, I'm the aggressor and the evil person for outing that an orgs lied and that they're players. Remember what I said in that?
Yeah.
I made this point on TikTok. The person who put the hexed guy in that situation is evil geniuses. It's not even hexed, because hexed himself, if he joined an org log, it'd be his fault. But he joined an org that said they vet you. So if you've gone through the vetting process, you're vetted. So the joke is it's EG that made that happen to him, not me, not Hex, no one else. So yeah, I think it's just weird to phrase it that way.
Also, this is the other thing, is that I commented on that video, it was worth the wait, looking forward to the side quests. And somebody comes in and says, bruh, disappointed in you. You call yourself a Christian and you support Thorin ruining some kid's life over comments he made years ago.
By the way, it's like, in what context is his life ruined? No, but here's the other thing. You are aware that guy's getting mad at an imaginary straw man. There hasn't been a cancellation. No, it wasn't even on Reddit that he did any of this stuff, That's real. It has never been featured on that Dassault. You can't find that Dassault article. There's nothing. It hasn't even been a blip on the Reddit. In fact, even people who enjoyed my video, that's the least important part to them. So, A, there has no one that. And then secondly, they've done that thing that you know about that does tilt me off the face of the earth, where someone goes, look, I don't believe in God or Christianity at all, but you do. So is there any way I can mind fuck you using your beliefs into thinking what you did is wrong when actually conveniently just plays into what I want to happen? It's like, what a fucking disingenuous bad faith argument that is, though. Because the premise should be, you don't even agree with that logic, Because by the way, that just shows you how whack people are. It's like, I thought you were a Christian. Oh, now you're going to judge me, random guy on the internet. I don't think so. Exactly. Come on, mate. Who are you? Who the fuck are you? It's
very convenient though, because I mean, when you get a leader like that, it's like, oh, cool, I can disregard everything you're going to write after this. Fantastic. Okay.
Also, Semmler, I'll tell you the clapback if you want one. I'll make it biblically based. Even though, look, I am a brilliant guy. I'm a very moral person, but you can pretend if you want this angle, if they think I'm scumbags. Just say, what do you mean? Why can't I associate with Thorin? Didn't our Lord associate with the prostitutes and the tax collectors?
Indeed.
That's fire.
There you go.
Normal, and we're not talking. Well, I could make a political joke there. Not like certain politicians, but that way, or political figures. I mean, he was being a good guy around them, not just fucking. He wasn't just soliciting them, was he? Like, come on.
He wasn't. Come on now. But that is
because that's true. It's just that's so always silly. The weird angle in it. Yeah.
How you keep getting these kind of surface level takes where it's just like, did you even watch a video? Odds are you didn't, and you're just and then you're going to use every little scumbag trick in the book to try and make it turn it onto me in some way that I'm a bad faith actor. Like it's one of those things where it's just.
No, you find that angle the wackest anyway when they specifically come at me or Richard. The angle of like, you're just trying to do something like ruin a guy. Yeah, we by definition have lived our lives the opposite of that. But yeah, you've just nailed it. But guess what? No one. It's like I'm the greatest bank robber of all time by his logic. He's never even investigated a bank robbery, but he caught me first time. What are the fucking odds, mate? You know what I mean? You obviously didn't, did you? You didn't catch me. You know, either I'm that good and I got away with it for 20 years, or I'm so shit a random idiot caught me instantly. Because the sad thing about that is, I've learned this a long time ago. When someone gets mad like that, this is the key thing. You'll notice the way they argue. If someone disagrees with you, Semmler, they just give a different opinion. If someone thinks you're wrong, they explain that you're wrong. These are all the order that people do in, right? They either disagree, they say you're wrong and prove you're wrong. If they can't do either, their brain gets cognitive dissonance. And because they don't like that you're right, they say something that doesn't make sense, but deflects from the fact that you might be right to something else. Like, for example, well, you're just an asshole. Why are you going to bring that up? Or like, oh, so you're just saying it because you hate him. You know what I mean? It's actually a non sequitur. It doesn't make sense, but it does if you understand what must be going on there.
Or you behaved poorly in this other circumstance, and so that obviously discredits whatever you have to say here. Like, it's just character assassination, but that's the main go-to these days. You know, it's no longer about actually challenging arguments or even trying to understand what the person writes. It's just, oh, I don't like this person, or I don't like what they're writing, and so I'm not even going to try and address the points made. I'm just going to attack them personally, because that's how you win now. You just destroy somebody's character in public and move on. So that again, it doesn't come as a shock. That's essentially
it's whatever
the go-to play.
Well, it's funny anyway. I laughed at that.
But I did have a chuckle too. I was like, okay, fine.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or be a pleb and don't.